People have been playing with many of the new Modern Horizons cards, but a card I have not seen yet is Power Bound. It is a double red enchantment that says whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may reveal the top card of your library. If you do, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost if the two spells have the same value. This means that you can not only cast stuff on your opponent's turn when they cast spells, but in addition, this is a great card advantage source. And when looking at the deck that we're going to be adding this to, it is Mono Red Midrange. You get to add a bunch of new cards from Modern Horizons 3. My favorite addition is all the flip lands like Pinnacle Monk and Sundering Eruption, meaning we get to play less lands in our deck and have more spells. And with additional cards like Barbarian Ring, Galvanic Discharge, and Lelia, it seems like this deck is in a great place. So we are going to be taking this deck through a League of Modern to see if Mono Red Midrange is back. Just a friendly reminder before the first match starts to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the play and starting hand looks great. Lead on turn 1 Din into a Ragavan. One plays a Strand, we will attack with Ragavan. Exile in a Marsh Flats. Ooh, and then they Surveil and Atraxa into the bin. So we'll play out our Blast Zone, cast out our Raptor, and find a Relic of Progenitus. Oh my god, we're so good. Oh my lord. Our Fetch Shocks and plays a Tainted Indulgence. We top deck a Blood Moon. We will go to combat, attacking with the team. Oh, they do have a Solitude, taking out our Ragavan. And I think just resolving Blood Moon's pretty good. An opponent scoops it up. Let's get on to sideboarding. We're bringing in 3 of the Stone Brain and a Magus for Shadow Soul Smashing and 3 Discharge. Game 2, starting hand is pretty decent, but we just don't have a relic, so we're gonna mull this. And this hand's much stronger. We'll keep putting back Sundering Eruption. When it goes turn 1 Fetch Shock, evoke out a Grief, taking our Magus, then ephemerating their Grief. We top deck a land, we'll play out Mountain. Upkeep they Grief again. One plays out a tapped land, Surveilling. Top deck an Unholy Heat, we will play our Mountain, and we're gonna try and kill the Grief now. We do. Nice. No land for the opponent. Ooh, we top deck a Spyro. So good. We'll play that out. Discard Sokenzon, draw 2. Not bad. And on our end step, they Celestial Purge our using Pyromancer. No land again. We top deck a Blood Moon. Let's slam it. Then play out our Mountain. We drew so well. Oh my goodness. Draw land, play it out. We'll just exile our Spyro this turn. Nothing from the opponent again. We will just get 2 1/1s. And a Sundering Eruption. We will play out our Amped Raptor. Sadly, we cannot cast our Pinnacle Monk. Hack in for 2. And opponent scoops it up. Let's get on to the next match. We're on the play and starting hand looks great. Oh, I accidentally clicked Mulligan. Well, at least our 6 looks good too. And we keep playing back a Spikefield Hazard. Oopsies. Turn 1 Mountain into a Ragavan. Turn 1 Bolt Land for the opponent into a Thoughtseize. Taking our Amped Raptor. Find another Spyro. Combat. Attack in with Rag. Exiling a Psychic Frog. Play a tapped land. And Baos. Ottawa for the opponent. Go to combat. Attack in for 2. And they drown and lock our Ragavan. Interesting. We will play out a Spyro. Putting back 2 bolts. Getting 2 1/1s. Play out our land. Pass. Psychic Frog for the opponent. Oh, my land was so good. Galvanic Discharge the Frog. Okay, they discard a card. That's fine. Discard another card. It's okay. We'll still deal all 3 to the Frog. Go to combat, attacking with the team. They do block. Discarding another card. I'm fine with this. Then we will play out a Spyro. Finding Blood Moon and Blast Zone. Opponent attacks in, and we will chump. Land for the opponent into a Shadow. Find a Spikefield Hazard. We'll play out our Blast Zone and pass the opponent. Opponent goes to jump their Frog. Attacks in for 4. In step, we will put a counter on our Blast Zone. I'll Shinka, play that out, and pass the opponent. Opponent goes to combat, attacks in. We will block, and then sack our Blast Zone. Pass from the opponent. We top deck our Ragavan, and we'll just do nothing. Planning on exiling our Spyro. In step, they flash into Bowmasters, taking out our Elemental. Opponent plays out a Polluted Delta, attacks in with their Shadow. For damage, they fetch, getting a Surveil Land, putting a Swamp into the yard. In step, we will Spikefield Hazard their Bowmasters, which they do counter spell. And then after that, we will sack our Blast Zone, find a land. We will play out our Mountain, dash our Ragavan, go to combat, attack in with the team. And they block with their Orc Army. We'll give Ragavan first strike. And opponent's down to 7. Find a Sundering Eruption. We will dash out our Ragavan. Yep, that meets a counter spell. So then we will slam our Blood Moon, and then go to combat, attacking for 2. And opponent scoops it up. Let's get on to sideboarding. We're going to take out 3 Blood Moon for Magus, a Filigree Silex, and a Ratchet Bomb. Game 2, starting hand has no land, so we're going to mull. Yep, and our 6 looks perfectly fine. We will keep putting back a Blast Zone. Turn 1 Swamp Thoughtseize for the opponent, taking our Ragavan. We find another one. We will play out a Mountain into a Rag. Opponent plays out a Delta, pushes our Ragavan. Ooh, we find a Blood Moon. Play tap land. Opponent plays an Island passing. We'll play Blast Zone and try and resolve our Fable. Yep, that meets a counter spell. Opponent Fetch Shocks, plays out a Preordain. When they play out a Death Shadow. Top deck a Relic, not bad. We'll play out our Lelia. Go to combat, attack, come on, land. Exile Spyro, and opponent takes the damage. Opponent plays out a Psychic Frog, attacks in for 4. We draw a land, we'll go to combat, attack in with Lelia. Exiling a Fable, no blocks from the opponent. We will play out a Relic, and play out our Mountain into a Fable, which meets a Stubborn Denial. Opponent goes to combat, attacks in with the team. Yeah, they have a Drown Lock, taking out Lelia. Find an Unholy Heat, we will fire that off on their Psychic Frog. They let that resolve. Okay, we will try and resolve our Spyro. They have a counter spell for it, unfortunate. So we'll scoop it up and get on to game 3. Game 3, starting hand looks great. We'll lead on turn 1 Bolt Land into a Relic. Opponent goes turn 1 Fetch Shock, Thoughtseize, and they take a Spyro. Ooh, Power Balance, let's go! That's such a good one against them. Opponent shocks in land, we find a Magus, we'll pass. Draw go from the opponent, we find a land, we'll draw go as well. Another land for us, land go. Opponent goes to discard here, getting rid of a Murktide. Another land for us, land go. Opponent goes to discard again, we find land, we'll go land go, pass. Opponent casts out a Thoughtseize, triggering Power Balance, and we get a Ragavan! Let's go! Oh my goodness, look at the value. And they take a Spyro, and Step will exile one of them. Find another Power Balance, that is awesome. We'll play that out, then play out a Magus, and they Stern Scolding. We get 2 Power Balance triggers. We will say yes to the first one, seeing a Shatter Skull Smashing, which we cannot cast, so that's okay to both of those, and we'll go to combat, attack in with the team, exiling a land, and then we will exile one of their cards. Don't cast out a Shadow, so in response we will pop our Relic so that we can get an actual chance of casting a spell here, and we reveal a Spyro on top. Sadly, don't get to cast that. We draw our Spyro, we will lead on a Galvanic Discharge on the Shadow, deal 3 to it, then cast Unholy Heat, I guess fire off a Shatter Skull Smashing for 1 on it. Oh, they have a Dismember? Alright, well, we will trigger our first Power Balance to get a Lelia, and I think that's just them dead now. Get another trigger, see a Ragavan, say no, and I think we will attack because we know our top cards are Ragavan, which we can cast off our Lelia, and we'll put our opponent down to 1. If they do block, go down to 1, and play out our Ragavan. I'm gonna cast a Fatal Push on our Ragavan, we get a trigger on Power Balance, Seed at Den of the Bugbear, and they push one of our elementals. We'll play out our Den, cast a Spyro, find an Unholy Heat and Blood Moon. I guess we will slam a Blood Moon and pass the opponent. And opponent scoops it up. Let's get on to the next match. We're on the draw, and starting hand looks great. Opponent goes turn 1 Surveil Land, draw a mountain, we'll go mountain into a Ragavan. Opponent plays out a Halfling into a Fetch Land, playing out another Halfling. Top deck a Ragavan, we'll go to combat, attack in, and they do trade here. So play out another Ragavan into a mountain. Opponent plays out a Spring Heart Nantuko into a land drop, getting a 1/1 and a no-1 plant. Find another Spyro, plays Sokinzon into a Blood Moon. Opponent plays out a Shuko, equipping it to their plant, and attacks in with the team, and then plays out a Bristly Bill. Interesting. No land for them. We find, ooh, Shatter Skull Smashing is pretty good. We'll go to combat, attacking with our Ragavan. No blocks from the opponent. We find a Saga. We will play out our land, and then fire off a Shatter Skull Smashing, taking out Bristly Bill and a 1/1. Or an equip Shuko, passing. We find a Barbarian Ring. We'll play that, play out a Lelia, go to combat, attack in. Ooh, I messed up. I played out our land, I shouldn't have. And they take the damage. We'll pass. Opponent finds a forest, plays it out, and then plays out a Nadu. This is going to be fun. An opponent ends up doing all of this, getting a Haywire Might, getting rid of our Blood Moon. At this point, they showed us a Thassa's Oracle, so they definitely have us. So we'll scoop it up and get on to sideboarding. We're going to take out 4 Relic, a Lelia, and a Fable for 2 Harsh Mentor, a Magus, and 3 of the Stone Brains. We're on the play for game 2, and starting hand is a Power Balance, so I'm going to try it. We'll lead on turn 1 Tap Land. Opponent goes turn 1 Surveil, keeping on top. We top deck a Spyro, we'll play Barbarian Ring into a Power Balance. Opponent plays out a Saga, we top deck a Mountain, we'll play that, then play out our Blood Moon. Opponent plays out a Mountain, find a Specfield Hazard, play out a Mountain, play out a Power Balance, then play an Amtraptor, find an Unholy Heat, which we will not cast. Mountain for the opponent, we will play a land, cast out our Spyro, pack in for 2, and opponent scoops it up. We will get on to game 3. Game 3, starting hand has no lands, so we got them all. And this hand is risky, only has 1 land, but I will keep it, putting back a Spyro. Opponent goes turn 1 Forest into a Grazer, putting in an Urza Saga. Find a Galvanic Discharge, we will bolt in our land and pass. Opponent goes to Springheart Nantuko, their Grazer, so we will bolt the Grazer in response. And they play out a Hedge Maze, getting a 1/1. Okay, we do find a land, thankfully. We will play that out tapped, and then Galvanic Discharge the Springheart Nantuko. Opponent floats a mana off Saga, picking up a Haywire Might, playing out a Pendlehaven into a Chord of Calling. Yep, picking up a Nadu. We do find a land. We will play that out and then cast a Seasoned Pyromancer, discarding a Spyro and a Heat. And I just gotta hope they don't have the thing. All right, well, we'll be back when they stop doing their thing. All right, never mind. They just have a Chord for 2 right away to get a Springheart Nantuko, so we will scoop it up and get on to the next match. We are on the draw, and starting hand looks great. Opponent goes turn 1 Tap Land. We'll go Mountain into a Ragavan. Opponent plays out a land into a March, killing our Ragavan. We top deck a Relic. We'll play out Sokinzon into a Power Bounce. Opponent plays out a Necrodomans. We trigger Power Bounce. We'll look at our top, seeing a Galvanic Discharge. Unfortunate. Opponent draws 6, and still on their instep, they cast a Soul Spike, and they cast another Soul Spike. Draw our Discharge, play Tap Land, pass. Opponent plays out a Tower, then draws 8 on their instep. They cast a Soul Spike into a Bowmasters. We will reveal our top, showing a Blast Zone, and they cast another Bowmasters. So still on the instep, we'll discharge an army, and then heat one of the Bowmasters. Play our Blast Zone, cast a Fable, pass. Opponent casts out a Shieldred. We will reveal our top. pop, seeing a relic. And they draw a few cards going up to 26. And yeah, at this point we're too far behind, so we'll scoop it up and get on to sideboarding. We're going to bring in 3 Stone Brains for 3 power balance. Game 2 starting hand looks great. Lead on turn 1 Shinka into a Ragavan. Opponent leads on turn 1 Swamp and pushing our Ragavan. Top deck a Blast Zone, play that out, play a relic. Swamp for opponent, we top deck another Pinnacle Monk. We will bolt this land in and play out a Fable. And on the end step, they flash into Bowmasters. Opponent evokes out a Grief, taking our Shatter Skull Smashing, and they do have a Scam effect. And they take our Pinnacle Monk, and they attack in with their Orc. I guess we kind of have to block. We're not really beating another Bowmasters anyway. Okay, so that deals the one, and then they march it after combat. That makes sense. We top deck a Spyro. We will not loot. Play out our tapped land. Sadly, cast out the Spyro, which they're going to get 2 Bowmaster triggers. More Spyros. Okay. Yep, and they take out our Spyro, so we'll exile their yard. Opponent attacks in with the team into a tapped land. We top deck a Blood Moon. Not good. We will play out our Mountain and pass the opponent. Opponent cast a Fellow Profane on our Mirror the Kiki Jiki. Okay, they attack in with everything, so we'll exile our Spyro and definitely take out their Bowmasters. On another land, we'll play that out. Cast out our Seasoned Pyromancer. Ooh, we find a Ragman, so we will dash that out. Attack in. Exile is Soul Spike, not awful. Opponent attacks in with the team. We'll double block the Grief and block the army. And they have a Shieldred. I'll take a Blood Moon. So we play out Ragman, play our Sokenzan, pass the opponent. They suspend a Profane Tutor, no attacks. So in step, we have to put a bunch of counters on our Blast Zone, get it up to 4. And then upkeep before we draw, we will pop our Blast Zone. Okay, Amp Raptor, great draw, but we'll attack first. We exile a Bogart Trawler, which I think we will actually cast out. Exile on their yard. And we'll also pop Relic now, might as well. Find an Unholy Heat. Another Shieldred for the opponent. And a Shatter Skull Smashing. We will go to combat, attacking with the team. No blocks from the opponent. Find another Bogart Trawler. I think we're gonna take the riskier line here of playing Amp Raptor. Hope we find a spell that can deal some damage to this Shieldred. Of course, it's a Blood Moon. That does not help us. Yep, and the risky line, I think, gets us killed here because we cannot Unholy Heat plus Shatter Skull Smashing this. So it was the riskier line, but I think it's the only line that actually gets us to win the game. So I'm fine with that. We will scoop it up and get on to the next match. We're on the draw, and starting hand is a little land light, but since we're on the draw, we'll keep it. Opponent goes turn 1 Urza's Mine. We'll play a Shinka into a Ragavan. Opponent goes Power Plant into a Stone Brain. We will attack in for 2, exiling an Expedition Map, and then we'll play out our Amped Raptor. And we will cast our Discharge, dealing 0, getting some more energy. Yep, and opponent has Tron. They play out a Karn into a 3-ball and down tick their Karn, picking up a Walking Ballista. Come on, land. Another Blood Moon. All right, well, we'll scoop it up and get on sideboarding. We're going to take out 2 Discharge, 4 Relics for 2 Damping Spheres, a Magus, and 3 of the Stone Brains. We're on the play, and starting hand looks great. We'll go turn 1 Den into a Ragavan. Opponent goes turn 1 Power Plant. We find a Sundering Eruption. It's pretty good, actually. Connect, exiling an Eldrazi Temple. We will bolt in our land, and then play out a Seasoned Pyromancer. We'll discard a Power Balance and a Sundering Eruption. Opponent plays out an Ugin's Labyrinth, exiling all its dust underneath it into a Trinisphere. We top deck a Stone Brain. We will attack in with the team, exiling a Devourer of Destiny, and we will play out our Magus. Opponent plays out a Tower into an Underworld Cookbook. We draw a Discharge. We will attack in with the team, exiling a Mine. They discard a Trinisphere, and we're not going to play anything here. Okay, opponent plays out a land into a One Ring. We draw a Blast Zone, play that, and pass the opponent. In step, they discard an Urza Saga, making another food. Opponent plays out a Swamp, draws 2 with One Ring, and scoops it up. Let's get on to Game 3. Game 3, we're going to take our Power Balances for 2 Harsh Mentors and a Meltdown. Game 3, starting hand looks great. Opponent leads on a turn 1 Labyrinth into a Mindstone. We top deck another Raptor. We'll play a tap land. Wow, opponent has nothing. We top deck a Damping Sphere. Huge draw. We will play a Shinka into a Damping Sphere. And in response, they cast a Kozilek's Command, making 2 Eldrazi spawns and then Shrine 2 and draw in a card. One plays out a Saga, nothing else. All right, we will go Land and Blood Moon, taking out their Saga. Mountain go from the opponent. We top deck an Unholy Heat. We will play Fable, pass. And on our end step, they dismember our Goblin Shaman. One plays out an Expedition Map, cracks their map, picking up an Urza's Mine. We draw a Pinnacle Monk. We will discard 2 and draw 2, get rid of a Blood Moon and Amped Raptor. Damping Sphere and Blast Zone in the draws. We'll play out Blast Zone, cast our the Stone Brain, and we will crack it. And we'll name Karn the Great Creator. Seeing 2 Devours in their hand and an Emrakul. When it taps out, casting a Devourer of Destiny, taking out our Blood Moon. Top deck another Blast Zone, flip our Fable. We will cast our Raptor and cast out an Unholy Heat targeting their Devourer of Destiny. Then play a Blast Zone. Opponent cast out a Trinisphere. Then they attack in for 6. Ooh, we top deck a Lelia. It's a really good card. We'll play that. Go to combat, attacking with the team. Exiling a Sundering Eruption, which we will play out as a land. Opponent cast a Kozilek's Command, killing our Lelia and making 3 0-1s. Pretty good. Then they attack in for 6. We draw a Harsh Mentor. We will pop our Blast Assassin, which is on 0, getting rid of their Eldrazi tokens. And we will go to combat and attack in with our Amp Drafter. Then go from the opponent. So in the step, we will copy our Amp Drafter. We draw a Fable. We will fire off our Unholy Heat, getting rid of their Devour. Then go to combat, attack in with the team. Opponent's down to 1, and then we will play out a tap land. Opponent sacrifices their Mind Stone and scoops it up. We end up going positive. Let's go. We end up going 3-2, which I cannot be sad about. I will say, you know, playing with this list, I think there are some changes that I would make. I don't know how I will power bounce. I think it's more of a meme card. I definitely wanted to try it out. It did some work against the Grixis Shadow deck, but nothing else. Amp Raptor was a little bit underwhelming in this list. It mainly hits removal spells, and we don't have any real energy creation in the list to really get to our 3-drops, which would be like the ideal scenario. Is a little bit sus, but I do think Lelia was fantastic in the list. Galvanic Discharge is another great removal spell. I like playing more of the flip lands. I think Sundering Eruption and Pinnacle Monk, while they didn't have any huge games, they are definitely worth playing. I think Sundering Eruption is a card, especially, maybe not so much Pinnacle Monk, but Sundering Eruption seems like it just would work really well in this deck. And then as for sideboard cards, Meltdown, obviously, I think is a great addition. We didn't really get to play against any artifact decks, and Harsh Mentor is, you know, fine for the Nadu matchup, but that deck's just absurd. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.